Hi guys, I'm going to present the Mooney Night by Bajin today. Uh, Mooney Night, it's written by Bajin. It's published in 1933. During that period, Bajin returned from France and lived in Shanghai. And Bajin is a very legendary author. He experienced cultural revolution in China. About the characters, we have Genshin, which is the main character, but however, he never shows up in the story. In the whole story, he never shows up. His story is told by other characters, by the bookman, and by his wife, Genshin's wife. So Li has a boat on the river. He sets off to the downtown every weekend, every Friday night. And however, Genshin didn't shows up tonight, but he is always punctual according to passengers. And Genshin's wife accidentally showed up and asked Li, "Where is Genshin? Is Genshin here?" And Li answered that he's not here. So Genshin's wife went crazy, screaming and crying. He know what happened to Genshin. He know Tang killed Genshin. Liu is another peasant who got killed by Genshin before, who got killed by Tang before, and Mr. A is a colleague with Genshin. So about the murder, which is the main conflict in the story, I'll elaborate more. So Tang, he's an old township chef in this village. He is seen as a representation of the gentry, the landlords. Tang kills a peasant called Liu before because Liu refused to pay the taxes to the Tang, who's a landlord, and Tang is actually in the collusion with the local police. Genshin and Mr. Yi, they organize a peasant union to fight against the future influences, including Tang. And Tang, in order to protect his benefits, he sent some gangsters to kill Genshin, to warn Mr. Yi. So Genshin and Mr. Yi is seen as a representation of the improvement and the transition of Chinese history from feudal to a more modern area in 1930s. Why this story is modernism? As I mentioned before, Genshin never shows up, so narration in the story is interesting. Genshin's life is told by others, but not himself, and which leads to the last point, the ambiguity. There's a gap, there's a space between Genshin and other characters and the readers, because based on Genshin's wife's narration and even the boatman's narration, we still do not have the whole information about Genshin. We just know that things happen on Genshin, and we know his destiny, his individual destinies against the feudal influences as a sacrifice. There's a comparison between this small individual entity and the huge, undeniable feudal influences. And last one is the sadness emotion environment, which I will talk about in last two slides. I think both James Joyce and Bajin is very good at using environment, using natural thing to express the sadness, the emotion of the main characters. There's a last few paragraphs of the story. So Genshin's wife was crying because they found Genshin's body on the river. So he says, quietly, the villages, the small river lay in the moonlight. The whole countryside seemed to weeping in this tragic atmosphere with no exception. In everyone's eyes were tears. This also happened in the painful case when the character knows the death of his former lover. It says, beyond the river, he saw the goods train winding out of Kingsbridge Station like a worm with their fairy, wading through the darkness. I think that both of authors make the sadness of the people and the natural thing as a whole to express this very deep and sad emotions. I And I think there's a connection between two stories. Thank you.